Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio and Young and Ace were two of the biggest rappers to emerge from the Florida drill scene in 2021. Now, Foolio's KTA crew and Young and Ace's ATA crew were pretty much painting the city of Jacksonville red with multiple drive-by murders and kidnappings occurring between 2018 and 2024. Foolio has had multiple attempts on his life, however none of them were successful, until June of 2024 when Foolio was set up by a girl who was connected to 4 other men, which led to his murder on his 26th birthday in Tampa. Jury selection began Monday in Tampa for Alicia Andrews, one of the 5 people charged in the killing of Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio. Now, detectives say that Alicia Andrews and her boyfriend Isaiah Chance, also known as Gut Isaiah, acted as lookouts for the night that Julio Foolio, whose real name is Charles Jones, was ambushed and killed outside of a Tampa hotel near the University of South Florida last summer. Now, according to the investigators, the couple drove down from Jacksonville to Tampa with 3 others who were allegedly targeting the rapper as part of an ongoing gang war. There are a total of 5 suspects involved in this crime. However, Alicia Andrews is the first suspect to go to trial, so the case is severed. Now, the prosecutors are alleging that Alicia Andrews played a key role in lining up Julio Foolio, even though she didn't pull the trigger. Now, the intricate thing about first-degree murder is it doesn't matter what your involvement was. If you were involved in some way, being the driver, giving the pistol, even though you didn't pull the trigger, you're still going to be liable and charged with first-degree murder. Now, when it comes to Alicia Andrews, she's been charged with first-degree murder, which is premeditated, as well as conspiracy to commit a murder. Now, the narrative being pushed by the prosecution is that Alicia Andrews and her boyfriend Isaiah Chance, known as Gut Isaiah in the streets, drove 4 hours from Jacksonville, Florida to Tampa Bay, Florida, with 3 other co-defendants, all linked to Young and Ace's gang allegedly, with the motive to track down and kill Julio Foolio, to which they did. Now, in the opening statement of the case, lead prosecutor Scott Harmon would speak on the inconsistencies and the lies being told by Alicia and his plans on proving it, with the biggest one being her having no idea who Julio Foolio even was, and the second being her not having any relationship or even knowing who Sean Gathright was, which was her boyfriend's best friend, another suspect involved in this murder.
The evidence will show that she makes statements to the police that are false, multiple statements. The evidence will show she lies to them over and over and over in this interview. She lies about her knowledge of these gangs. She lies about her knowledge of who Julio Foolio is. And you're going to see in the evidence that not only does she know who he is, she's known who he is for years. She has animosity towards him. You'll see that in the evidence. But she lies about simple facts that are easily rebutted. Namely, she lies about knowing this guy, Sean Gathright, the individual whose house she left from to come to Tampa, the individual who was driving the Chevy Impala that she was sitting in for almost 3.5 hours driving to Tampa on the 22nd, the individual who was best friends with her boyfriend, Isaiah Chance. She's shown that photograph. I don't know who that is.
Hold on. 97% of you guys watching this video are not subscribed. Now look, man, I like making the content. You like watching the content. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate how it's grow a lot, and I'm trying to keep it going, man. Subscribe. Let's go. Doubling down, the prosecutors would say that Alicia and her boyfriend were the lookouts following Julio throughout the night so that the 3 shooters could stand the blitz and kill Foolio. Now, the most controversial thing in this trial is the conspiracy charge. Now, Alicia is being charged with conspiracy to commit murder as well as first-degree premeditated murder. Now, the conspiracy is the hardest thing to prove because she didn't really have any real relationship with these people outside of her boyfriend and the 3 other guys, and she didn't know them from before, according to her. Now, conspiracy is very hard to prove. A very simple example of conspiracy is, I don't like John because John had sex with my girlfriend, or he broke into my car, or he stole from me. And I'm texting Eric saying, hey, Eric, let's kill John, let's jump John, or let's break into his house. Even though I don't go through with the crime, the fact that I plan to do it, I spoke about it in iMessage, Instagram, wherever it may have been, the platform, I still conspire to go and commit the crime. That is conspiracy. I feel like for her, this girl was like a 22-year-old esthetician, or she did like nails and shit like that. So she wasn't really in the street life. Did she have a street boyfriend? Absolutely, because that's what got her eloped into this crime. But was she fully involved or equally knew the ups? I would say maybe 30% she knew what they're going to do, but she probably thought that, hey, I'm a girl, I'm at a party, I'm going to get away scotch-free. But no, she got lumped in with her boyfriend and the 3 other killers because Foolio died. Now, lead prosecutor Scott Harmon feels that Alicia is fully involved in this crime and she isn't as oblivious as she appears to be or what the defense is trying to paint her as. Now, Scott believes that Alicia was well aware why her boyfriend and her friends wanted to go to Tampa, which was kill Julio, and she still made the decision of herself to be there and involved in the murder.
Part of the photo. So you see in this video, Xavier Edwards desperately trying to get them out of harm's way. But what he didn't know was that up on the top of that screen between that, I think it's a Mercedes and that yellow car, was the third shooter. The third shooter. That's the Charger at the impound lot at the Tampa Police Department. You can see the impacts. Every one of those yellow stickers on the hood, the side, and the windshield are all impacts.
Now, I still have to come back to this concept because conspiracy is one of the hardest things to prove. Was she aware why she went to Tampa? And how is it possible that she had no idea a murder was going to take place? And are you really denying that she had no knowledge that her own boyfriend, or at least her boyfriend's friends, were going to be involved in a crime? Like, do we believe that? Now, it was actually revealed that early this year, Alicia was offered an 18-year plea deal to which she denied. Now, she turned it down because she felt that she had a better chance of fighting at trial. Now, what I will say is, out of the 5 suspects, her being a woman and her probably having the least knowledge of it, she has the most lenient sentence, which is if she gets found guilty in the state of Florida, life in prison means life in prison. But for the other 3, or should I say the other 4, if they get found guilty, they, may get the death penalty and have to go to a death penalty phase trial. Now, I have a really bad feeling about her defense because when her defense attorney took the stand for the opening statements, she essentially said that she's a regular person, she was an esthetician, she was tangled up in her boyfriend's street life activity, she went to Tampa for a getaway weekend not knowing that Julio Foolio was planning to get killed that weekend because it was his birthday and he's posting on social media, and she essentially painted the narrative that Alicia's boyfriend, which is Zay, was controlling, manipulative, and jealous, and she just went along because she didn't want to upset him, which is hard to believe.
Alicia Andrews did not have any physical evidence on any weapon displayed by the state. You would not find DNA, fingerprints, no physical evidence whatsoever linking Alicia Andrews to this case. Alicia Andrews did not have a motive. In other words, there is no evidence whatsoever to support this case of conspiracy or first-degree murder against Alicia Andrews. I'm sure you're wondering, if there's no evidence against Alicia Andrews, then why are we here? We're here because of the perception of the facts of one man, Detective Juan Ramos. But ladies and gentlemen of the jury, perception is not reality. Detective Juan Ramos had only worked homicide for about 4 months when he got this case. Became a homicide detective in February. This murder happened in June. His first time as a lead detective on the case, and he lands perhaps one of the biggest homicide cases that the Tampa Police Department has seen in a while.
Now, the attorney would outline, which I will agree, that Alicia essentially had no motive to want to kill Julio Foolio, but it almost paints the narrative that she was just at the wrong place in the wrong time, being involved in the wrong circle. Now, the lawyer's opening statement didn't sell me. Now, do I agree that it's hard to prove a motive for her? Yes. But I also agree that it's kind of easy to prove first-degree murder because she was involved in the same car as the killers, and she willingly drove and sat for 3 hours when they drove from Jacksonville, Florida, all the way to Tampa. You got to think, you drove 3.5 hours, literally damn near half a workday, because a whole workday is 8 hours, to kill someone else, and you had no idea why you're going to Tampa, like what you thought you were going to Disney or something. Like, certain things just not adding up. But I'll save more topics like this for next one because this is just day 1 of the trial. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.